Hi, my name is Holly Tomlin. I'm here to show you today how to do an outbound inspection on a trailer. Before we get started, I want to show you the tools that you're going to need to be able to complete this process. First of all, you're going to need an iPad, a tablet, to be able to enter all the information in that you're going to be recording as you're going around. Different information on the tires, the brakes. You're going to be taking pictures, you're going to be taking video. You're also going to need a ladder, so you can reach certain areas, like on the front of the here. I'm too short, so I'm not going to be able to reach the buttons very easy, so I have to use a ladder for that. And I would definitely recommend using a ladder to be able to get into the back of the trailer, because it can be slippery and it's more dangerous if you don't. So I would definitely recommend using a ladder in the back as well. So in my little cart here, I have a brake tool that measures how much brake is left. I have a PSI gauge for the tires. We've got this cute little guy here. This measures how much tread is left on the tires. Got a flashlight, so that way when you're looking at the inner tires, if you can't quite read what brand it is, you can shine this in there and hopefully see around it. Or even if you're looking at the brakes, it might be too dark in there too, so just whatever, it might help you be able to read things better. Some needle nose pliers, just in case you can't get the valve stem cover off, to be able to get that off of there, because it could be stuck on due to different debris or dirt or something. Sometimes they're just a pain in the butt to get off. So anywho, that's all I want to show you on that. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start on the trailer. And this trailer here, you can see on the right hand side, that is the trailer number. It starts with a C. Typically they're going to start with a C. Sometimes it might be a 53 or something a little bit different, but the majority of them should start with a C. And that's the number that you're actually going to type into your iPad here whenever you're doing the inspection. So it ties all the information to that specific one. So prior to getting the information off of the trailer, if you don't already have the information from the customer, that might be able to be added later, but if you do have it, you want to go ahead and enter the rental agreement number, the customer number, customer name, contact name, phone number, and the rates also. And that should hopefully be provided ahead of time. If not, we can add it later if we have to. So now from the trailer, we're going to get the VIN number, which on this one is located on the front. Sometimes they're on the side over there, but in this case it's right here. So we're going to enter that entire number in under the VIN number. We're going to enter in the, I gotta find it here, box PM on date. That's the last time the DOT inspection was done. So here's the September 2020. I'm gonna put September 1st, 2020. I don't know the exact day, so I'm just gonna put the 1st. All right. So now let's go ahead and start the unit up, because we want to go ahead and get the reefer hours on it. And while that's taking its time starting up, we're going to go ahead and take some pictures randomly around the trailer, and we'll come back to it and take a picture of our reefer hours and record it. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to flip the switch up. I'm going to open that up so I can see it better when the time does come. And while that's doing its thing, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with the VIN. We're going to take a picture of it, angle it to where you can actually read it. There's that. We're going to come over and we're going to take a picture of the latest DOT inspection. Now, if you see more than one, definitely make sure that you pick the newest one, because that's the one that obviously matters. And it looks like it's almost ready to start. We're going to keep on going. We're going to take a picture of the level in the fuel tank. You kind of get in close so it focuses. In this case, it's 3/8. And we're going to remember that later, because we're going to enter that information in our checklist. But we're going to go ahead and get all our pictures now, then we'll come back in and start entering some of the info. For each set of tires, take a picture from the front, just kind of showing the tread depth and what they look like. Make sure there's no flat spots, anything that stands out. We're going to take a picture of the license plate, which this will also need to be recorded in your checklist. We're going to come back over on this other side, and I'm going to start by taking pictures of the front tires first, and then do the rear just like I did on the other side. So those and those. Now, we're going to go back to our checklist. Remember how I said that we needed to enter some information in? So since we're back here already, we're going to enter in the license plate number, the state, and you don't have to spell the whole state out, just do the abbreviation. Let's see, we've got the make of the trailer, which this is a CIMC Vanguard. I'm going to put in Vanguard. The length, we know by the trailer number that it's 53 foot. So looking at the trailer numbers, after the C, the first two numbers are the year of the trailer, so it's 2015. The next two digits are 53, that's showing that it's 53 foot long. The S stands for single temp, and then the last three digits are assigned to the specific trailer to just have it in its different fleet. As you can see, other ones around here have, like this one's got 246, that one's got 091, so each one, the last three digits should never be the same. They're always going to be different, unless obviously we get past the 999, which I think we might have. All right, so we're going to go ahead and finish filling the rest of this out. So we've got the height, and that's going to be on the front of this. I do know typically on 53 footers that it is automatically going to be 13 foot 6. There should be a sticker on the front telling you that. And it is going to get louder as I start getting towards the front, and I apologize. So I'm going to go ahead and get the reefer hours, take my picture, and shut the unit off so that way you can hear me on the rest of this. Okay, now when I took the picture, I don't know if you noticed or not, I had to kind of go like this a little bit because there was a bad glare and I couldn't quite read it. So I wanted to make sure that I did actually capture the engine hours. In this case, yes I did. So 3887 is what it is. So I'm going to go back to my checklist and I'm going to put in the reefer hours, 3887. All right. Now, also while we're here on the front, we're going to go open up the doors on the reefer. Make sure you use your ladder, and we're going to get information on this filter right here. It asks for the last PM date and engine hours, so last time the preventative maintenance was done. So on this one here, we've got September 8th, 2020, and the hours of 3813. Okay. And while you're in here, you also may want to just kind of pay attention and see if you notice any leaks or anything, which since this is getting ready to go out, that should already be addressed, but now it's kind of like a last minute look just to make sure. This one looks okay. It's still a little dirty because they need to wash it before it goes out, but to me it looks all right. From it just running that little bit that it ran, I think we're okay. All right, going down our line, next thing it asks is who's inspecting it, so I'm going to put my name. All right, it asks for the fuel level. So we're going to go back, and before, I believe it said it was 3/8, so we're going to put 3/8 on there. And let's see here, type. Oh, I missed type. Okay, type. We'll actually address that when we go to the back. So I'm going to grab my little basket, and we're going to head towards the back. And we're going to need this basket for the tires, so I'm just going to leave it right here for now. So when it asks for the type, it's either going to be a swing door or a roll-up door. This is actually a swing door because the doors swing open. Roll door obviously means it's going to be rolling up. So for the type, I'm going to type in swing. And then now, we're going to start doing the things around the tires. So, first thing I'm going to check is the brakes. So I'm going to grab my little brake tool. And we're going to go underneath on the inside, and on each tire they have two sets of brake shoes. They got them on the top and on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and measure all four areas because we want to make sure that we grab the lowest number, because that means those are obviously going to wear out the fastest. So in the center of the two brake shoes there is a hole. You stick that in there, and I'm going to get out of the way so you can see that. And you can see that it hits before it goes to the number 18. So that means that that's 16 on the bottom there. I'm going to do the same thing on the top. All right. And can't quite see it from this angle, and I don't think a flashlight's going to help me, so I just put my finger where it stopped, and it stopped at 16. So we're going to do this side also. That one actually does go into 18, but since 16 is still our smallest number, that's the one that we're referring to. I'm going to do the top one. And the top one looks like it stops right at 18. So 16 is the number that we're going to put in for the front brakes. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the same thing for the rear brakes. So that one there stops just before the 18, so it still actually is a 16. You can see right there. Go ahead and do the top. Oop, this one, well, this one doesn't want to go in there. That's in my way. Okay, so now is when I'm going to have to just kind of do a visual. So looking at the whole gap on that one, comparing it to the whole gap on this one, they look pretty much the same. So I'm going to trust my eyes that that's the same as the bottom one. But let's go ahead and see what this side says. Sometimes it will be difficult where you're not going to be able to get the tool in there. Oh, that one's down to 14, so that's even lower than that side. Let's see. 14 on that one too. Oh, all right, so we're going to put 14 for the rear brakes. Okay, let's go out this side since we're a little bit closer to this side. All right, we're going to go back to the bucket. We're going to grab some of the tools for checking the tires. All right, first thing we're going to check is the PSI. So you're going to do those on every one of the tires. You're going to do the outside. I didn't do it very good. That's about right then. Okay, so we're at 80 PSI. They really should be at 100. So I'm going to let the guys know that these need to have some air put in them, but we want them as close to 100 as possible. So when checking the information on the tires, you're actually going to be doing 5 different things to each one of the tires. You're going to check the PSI. You're going to be recording the make. You're going to record the size, whether it's an original or a retread, and then the depth of the tires. So we got the PSI on this one. All right, and the make is a Goodyear, so I'm just going to put GY. For the size, even though it's a 22.5, I'm just going to put a 22 because it's basically the same thing. Now when it asks for if it's an original or a retread, this one I know it's a retread by looking at it. To show you an example of an original, it's going to have this line here, and this one does not have that. You can also kind of tell when you're looking at the side, you can see how it's kind of uneven, and it looks like that's kind of been like slacked on there. That's what a retread looks like. So that one's going to be an R. And we're going to use this little guy. And before we just stick it in there to measure it, we're going to just kind of look all the way around and see if there's any spot that's a little bit lower than the rest, because we want to get the lowest number there is, because that's what DOT would look at if they were to pull you over on the road. All right, so that was a 10, and that was a 9. So here, I'm just going to put it right here, and you're going to be looking, that's the number right there, 9. So that's what we're going to record for the 30 seconds. And we're going to do that on each and every one of the tires. I'm not going to do it right now because obviously you got the gist of what we're doing. All right. Got that. So now, let's see here. We got the tires. Now's when we get to start doing video. So we're going to go to the front. We're going to go a video all the way around the outside. We're going to do a video underneath. We're going to do a video of the doors open and a video of the doors, or of the inside of the trailer. So when starting your outside video, you want to focus on where it shows the trailer number in your video. So let that be your first start. And you're just going to take the iPad and you're going to reach up as high as you can. Just so you can kind of focus on the top part. Come down the side, across the front and back up the side. Now we're going to just kind of record this as we go down the side of the trailer. If you've got tight quarters, you might have to stand a little closer, just kind of, you know, go up and down and back and forth and just try and record as much as you can. Don't go too fast because the tablet needs to focus and you don't want it to be out of focus. You may not be able to pay attention to some of the detail. So while we're doing this, we're just wanting to see if there's any damage that has been there so we can record it as prior damage. So we don't, you know, blame the customer for later on when it comes back that they did it. So here's an example right here. Looks like this happened because they opened up the door too far, but it's still technically damaged. So we're just going to take a picture of that and we're going to label it as prior. So we have that. We're going to come around the back. I'm going to go around the edges of the doors all the way around, just kind of focusing in on where the seals are. Makes it, you know, so they look like they're intact. We're also going to go down the center, make sure the door rods are straight and the seal is in good shape. We're going to check out the bumper, make sure there's no previous damage on the bumper. We're going to do the same thing when we go back down this side. We're just going to walk down the side. Try and get the tires in it if you can, even though we got pictures of the tires on the front. When you're taking video, try and, you know, back up as far as you can so you can still kind of gather the tires. If you need to tilt the tablet to go like this to make it work because of the space, do whatever you need to do. I'm going to keep on going. On this side of the trailer, it looks pretty good. I don't see any previous damage. All right, so we got that part of the outside. So I'm going to stop this video and then I'm going to start another one. All right, this one we're going to hold the tablet at an angle like this to where it captures basically the entire underneath, but it's obviously going to only be able to focus probably closer what's to you. So we're going to go all the way around. So while I'm doing this, I'm also going to put my eyes on it to see if there's anything that I need to focus on that we want to be able to take a picture of for reference for when this trailer comes back. So we're looking at the gas tank on the other side, seeing if there's any dents in it, if there's any leaks. We're looking at the crossbars underneath, looking at the lights, any of the wires hanging down. Now when we get near the tires, we want to kind of focus on the subfloor above them because if there's any holes or anything, that really needs to be addressed before it goes out. But we definitely want to make sure we record it so we don't charge the customer later for it. I'm going to keep on going all the way down. Then we're going to go across the back. And this kind of focuses in more towards, you know, the center of that, just to see if there's anything that's kind of out of whack. I'm going to do the same thing going up the front. Oh, here's a good example of a hole. So we're going to take a picture of that. And even though that's prior damage, probably need to try and address it before it goes, depending on how fast it has to get out of here. So that's definitely something that needs to be documented. All right, so we're going to focus in the underneath as best we can. I know it's kind of hard to see because it's dark under there. Just kind of go a little slow. Turn it in as best you can. We're going to keep on going up this way. Make sure you're looking at the lights to make sure that the brackets are okay. Here we're coming up on the fuel tank. We're going to check out this side, make sure that there's no leaks and that it looks like it's in good shape. The dolly handle's in good shape. Just kind of having your eyes go all over the place when you're looking for stuff. So we're going to go across the front, and this is going to kind of focus going down the trailer, making sure that everything is straight and square in the way that it's supposed to be. So that's our second video. Now we're going to go to the back and do a third video. So I'm going to need to open up the doors, and I'm going to get all the seals, and then I'm going to hop in the trailer and do the inside. So let's go back there. We're going to go ahead and grab the ladder. Be a lot safer to get in using it. And I'm still just kind of looking at the trailer to make sure there's not anything that I may have missed whenever I was doing my walk around. Oh, great example right here. I didn't catch this when I was doing my walk around. So that's prior damage, once again, probably from the door opening up too fast. So even though I stopped my video, I can still take random pictures, just like we did earlier of the tires, of the VIN plate, of the license plate. So I can just take a picture right there, and I'll come back and I'll label it as prior. All right. And we do want to go ahead and open up both doors, because the lighting's going to be a lot better inside. And make sure we can open them. If you're able, you definitely want to use the door hooks, because you don't want a gust of wind to come along, smack you in the head, hit somebody else, hit another trailer, a car, a dog, big dog. All right, they're both locked in. Okay, I'm going to grab the tablet. And now we're going to start a third video on this trailer. We're going to be focusing on the edges of the door and also the center of the door. So we're going to start with the edges first. We're going to go up the side. Just stretch as far as you can to get the top. I know it's kind of hard to see, but just do the best you can. And come down the side. And we can see that this was repaired before. I'm still going to go ahead and take a picture of it, because it still may get damaged further, but we want to show kind of what it looked like prior to. So we got all the door. And now we're going to focus around the edges, see if there's any dents or anything that shouldn't be there with where the doors close. All the metal's where it's supposed to be. Now we're going to go up this other door along the edge. Definitely want to make sure you try and capture the inner and the outer seal. All right, so on this side, on the upper part of this door, there's actually a little bit of a tear. So I'm going to take a picture of that with a circle around it, showing that it was prior. The customer did not do that. So obviously that little bit of damage wasn't enough for them to change the entire seal out. So that's why it's still like that. And fortunately, you know, they've got this second seal to help too, so we're okay. So this here looks like it's a repair that's been done recently. We're going to go ahead and just picture that. Label it as prior. And then that's it for our third video. Now we're going to go ahead and climb on in and do our inside video. All right, we're inside the trailer now, so we're going to record basically every inch of this. So we're going to do the sides, then we're going to do the bottom, then we're going to do the top. We're going to do it all in the same video. So when you start your video, I recommend starting it on the curb side so you can capture the trailer number. Should match the one that's outside, but it's always helpful to have the beginning of your video to have that on there. So we're going to start that, and we're just kind of be looking and recording at the same time, just like we did outside. So we're going to go down, and if you need to angle it so you can kind of capture, you know, you want to be able to go down the wall as far as you can, not too much of the floor, because we're going to get that later. You definitely want to get up to the ceiling past the corner as much as you can. So I usually just kind of walk at an angle like this, and while you're walking, you want to be looking and see if there's any prior damage that you want to record. Scuffs and minor scratches are nothing major. We definitely want to be looking out for, you know, holes or something that's missing, or say the bulkhead is loose. Definitely want to be able to just kind of focus on stuff like that. So we got that side done. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a picture of what the bulkhead looks like and the condition that it's in. And as you can see on this one here, at the bottom, it's been smashed. So we definitely want to make note that that was prior damage, that the next customer doesn't get charged for it. So we got that in that picture that we took. So we're going to go ahead and start on the other side, heading back towards the back. And you may have to walk a little slower because it's having a hard time focusing because the lighting inside's not the greatest. And you can always, you know, bring in a flashlight or a lantern or something that might help you be able to see better. Or if you can turn the lights on inside, you want to try and do that so you can inspect a little bit better. All right. We're to the end, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to focus on the floor. So when doing the floor, you want to try and get at least half of the bottom and then go up the wall too. So I usually try and capture from about here to about here. So depending on how you're able to make it work, so I usually turn my iPad about like that. That way I over-cover what I was covering before. Because you never know if you might accidentally miss something, which due to lighting or just there's a lot to look at. So we're going to go down each side. And I'm going to turn. And I'm going to do the same thing coming back. So far, the inside of this trailer actually looks pretty good. There's really no prior damage that we need to record, which is good. All right, we're almost to the back. And before we turn this off, there's one last thing we got to do, and that's the ceiling. So we're going to go up. We're going to do kind of like what we did with the floor. We're going to cover as much of the top half as we can, and just down the side walls just a little bit. So like right now, I was able to just get past that light in my video. I'm going to keep on going. All the way down. And cover the top above the bulkhead. We're going to do the same thing on the way back. Capturing just past the light, that way we're overlapping from what we recorded before, basically covering every inch of this trailer. It's having a hard time focusing, so I'm actually slowing down a little bit because of that. All right, so we are to the back. Now, even though we went around the edges on the outside before, we're going to do it from the inside too, because we want to definitely capture this here, to see how that's all scratched up. Looks like they've recently reattached it, so it was probably pulled loose before. But we're still going to go ahead and take a picture of it just to kind of show what it looked like before. And go all the way up and around and down and across the bottom. And that's the end of that video. I appreciate all your time, and thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Take care.